Yo, what's going on, y'all? It's your boy Neo, coming from my reality TV, like from my point of view. Um, Pardon the sound of my voice, I'm just waking up. I just wanted to go over the sliders, post patch, post second patch, because right after I released my slider set, my finalized slider set, like within hours, EA put out a patch, and it changed a lot of stuff. Not a lot, but enough that I needed to go back in and make some tweaks and adjustments. So I just wanted to go over some of those now. Um, this set should be pretty much the final one, unless I get feedback and there's other things that need to be changed or need to be altered. But I've pretty much spent the last 24 hours, 24, 48 hours working on these to just get them exactly where they needed to be in line with the new update. So the first things first, the first thing I wanted to go into and let everybody know that I changed was the player speed parity scale. Now I had it at 48. 48 was working fine, but for some reason once the update happened, things started getting a little weird. Now one of the things that I try to do with these sliders is one of the main things that I try to do at least is eliminate those weird animations that tend to happen sometimes, like because you'll be playing and you'll do certain things. You'll throw the ball, you'll run the ball, and it'll just trigger this really bad animation sometimes. And that's what a lot of this whole thing is about. It's about making sure that the animations are matching realistic things. So raising this speed parity to 54, and I tested it from 48 all the way to 54. I went through each individual step. I moved it up a notch, and when I got to 54, I noticed that 54 was playing really well. You're still going to get the separation from the fast guys to the slow guys. You're still going to get, I mean, it just all looks right, and that's what I wanted. So I did that one, and I believe I lowered injuries to down to 25 from 29, because I was seeing an influx of injuries. Um, so I just lowered that to 25. Now that could change. I'll have to see how it's playing when I'm playing through with my franchise or other modes and things like that. I'll have to see how the injury thing goes, but I think 25 is a pretty decent thing. All right, one of the biggest changes in the set were the penalties. They upped I guess what happened before was there was never any illegal block in the back penalties being called. I don't remember seeing any up until the patch, and they addressed that in the patch. But I also think that they addressed face mask penalty. The other ones I think were all right. Now we still don't. I still have yet to see a defensive holding penalty. I'm actually going to thinking about writing to them and putting in a ticket about that, because I never see it. I never see defensive holding, and that's something that should be in there. So anyway, I didn't do much here other than I lowered the face mask down to 55. I think I have face mask at like 65, 70 maybe, because before it wasn't getting called much, so I had to put it that high to just kind of balance it out so that it would be called maybe once at least twice a game here and there. And then illegal block in the back. Now illegal block in the back was something that they didn't call much, so I had that about 65, 70. And when you went to use the slider set that I had previous to the patch, you were going to get all kinds of illegal block in the back penalties. So I had to lower it down to 50. It's not exactly at 50. I'm just showing it right here. Now, when you're playing your connected franchise modes, these numbers will be a little different. So check the description underneath the video or in the blog, and it will let you know what to put this at to give you a realistic standpoint. So like a lot of these are lower. I think these are like 57 and 58, things like that. But those are two things that I just wanted to speak on and address. Okay, next we're gonna go into player skill. Player skill, I didn't really do a whole lot of changing, just minimal tweaks here and there. The most important thing that I did for player skill was I lowered the run blocking to 20. At 20, you should see really good running. You should see your men should block. You should have lanes. You should have, but it won't be every single play. So you'll have plays where you only get a yard. You'll have plays where you get tackled for a loss. You'll have plays where guys will get into the backfield. But with run blocking at 20, guys aren't like, one thing that I hate. Let me just talk about this. One thing that I hate is when you go for a run, and as soon as your quarterback hands the ball off to the running back, if you look at the defensive line, a good portion of the defensive line automatically breaks out of their tackles. Like their blocks. They automatically break out of their blocks. They shed them, like automatically. So I put it at 20 because if I go too high one way, too low the other way, then they'll keep doing that. So at 20, you're getting a good balance. You'll get some plays where they will break those, where they will shed those blocks. Guys that aren't as good, they probably won't shed the blocks at all. But those more experienced guys, those really good guys, those J.J. Watts, guys like that, those guys will block shed, but they won't block shed every single play or as soon as you touch the ball, because that prevents you from getting anywhere. Also, with the speed parity in line with the run blocking like that, it gives you enough room so that your running back isn't getting caught from the backside all the time. Now, it will happen sometimes, so don't think that it'll never happen. It will happen sometimes, and that's just with any of these things with the sliders. You'll get plays where you'll make really tough catches. You'll get plays where you'll drop wide open passes. You'll get plays where you'll have your quarterback, he'll throw a pass and there's no pressure on him, but he'll overthrow it. You'll have him under complete pressure and he'll throw a dime. That's the point of these sliders. I wanted to have some semblance of balance, so that's why the run blocking is what it is. Again, nothing else really changed in this, just small minor tweaks here and there. A lot of things you probably won't even notice from the last slider set to this one, but I just wanted to talk about that because the run blocking was something that I had changed on both the player side and the CPU side. So the same, everything I just said about the player side also applies to the CPU side. I did lower the reaction time a bit, because like I said before, reaction time to me, the lower it is means the faster they react, and I've been seeing some great reactions. So give it a shot, play it. If you might see the same thing I'm seeing, might not, because all of this, as I said before, is based on eye test. It's what I see as opposed to what somebody else sees. Somebody else may see it completely different. Somebody else may have their reaction time at 87 because through their eyes, that's what they see. And I'm all for that. So this isn't about, well, this is the way to play. Because it's not always going to be that. Other people are going to have great slider sets that work for them or that work for a certain particular group of people. These particular sliders work for me, and I get really good gameplay out of it. And even in my league where I'm playing with my fellas, it's the same thing. Everybody's giving me, everybody's loving it. Everybody's playing. Games are good, things like that. So just wanted to do that. So let's go to the CPU side. I think I lowered the pass blocking, because again, with the patch, it made the defenders, they couldn't get to the quarterback, or they weren't bringing pressure. So I lowered it a bit. 36 is a good range because you'll get pressure. You won't always get a sack, but you'll get some pressure. The quarterbacks won't just be sitting back there in the pocket or anything like that. And if you run a 3-man rush, like, they'll have time. So keep that in mind, like, when you're doing these things. You may blitz, you may not. You may have to put pressure. You may have to adjust things. There's certain things you have to do, but this will give you a nice balance with that. Again, run blocking lowered down to 23 for the CPU. Same thing that applies for the player skill. Reaction time, I put theirs at 24. I think that balance is right because they're not psychic. They're not running the route before you run it. Like, I hate when I see a receiver going to make a cut or getting ready to make a cut and the defender has already made it, like already completely made the cut. Don't pay no attention to that. I dropped my controller, so it changed the fumble, so I'm not gonna save that. But I hate when the defender makes the cut way before the receiver does. So I had to change that. And that's really about it. Like I said, that's really about it for everything with the sliders. So if you need them, they are available on PSN. Let me go show you where they're at. And they'll also be in the description of this video and on my blog post, and any updates that I make will be on the sliders, will be here, so you'll see them. You'll be able to know exactly, you know, where they're at if I make changes. So here they go. These are the names: All Pro Sliders Player and All Pro Sliders CPU. These are for both both the settings for my All Pro sliders for pretty good balanced gameplay. Remember to keep it on All Pro, anywhere from 9 to 11 minutes. If you have the accelerated clock off, I would recommend having it off. But if you have to have it on, I would put it at 25 seconds. Put your injuries, fatigue, and speed to 25, 56, and 54. And again, keep checking back for updates. All feedback is welcome. You can hit me here. You can hit me on Twitter. You can leave something on my blog. Whatever you got to do. Any feedback is welcome, guys. And I truly appreciate it. And I appreciate all the help and all of the positive feedback that I've been receiving. So this is the post-patch, my final post-patch All-Pro Madden sliders. Enjoy.